Yes, we are.
Oh, I see me.
Woo.
Okay, it's saying Tracy's live, but that's okay. She
That's
enjoyed
okay.
it. That's okay. Hey, y'all.
Yes, we are
We are
here.
live. We're going to try to share it with some people.
Yes.
Because we had some technical difficulties.
A whole lot of it.
A whole lot of it. Difficulties and stuff. Okay, look, let me just disclaimer. We are GNN, not CNN. Okay, so we don't have the production is they are non-existent.
Right.
Because we ain't got the budget. So if you want to donate,
thank you. If you want to sponsor, donate, all that good stuff.
Because we wanted to start on time, but we're 25 minutes late. That is okay because we had some technical difficulties. Let me see if my family is on. Let me just
There we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay, we're live. Okay, let me tag my aunties because they want to see their niece on Facebook, as the older people call it, the Facebook.
Okay,
yes, the Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, we got 7 people. Hey, y'all. Hey, we're here.
Okay, and I got notification that they are seeing it. Okay, so let me just, if you're part of my family, the Perry family, if you don't see us, text it. Okay, okay, I think some people give me some instructions, but anyway, we are so excited. Okay, so we have been promoting Fill Out Your Census for like years at this point. But we felt like it was necessary for us to bring on an expert to help explain some things and answer some of your questions. So, Ashley, take it away, and I'll try to work out look, y'all, we are host and we are production. We are the writing crew. We are everything. Okay, because we are GNN, not CNN. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Go
That's
ahead.
it. Right. So again, we are here finally after some minutes, but we are here to bring you guys an updated, accurate information on what the census is and why it is so important. We have none other than Ms. Sherry Thorpe Williams. She is here to correct some of the stuff that we put our own tweak on. So those of you who were asking us questions that we really couldn't answer, she is here to answer those questions and have a good time with us. Thank you so much, Ms. Sherry, for coming on Good News News. We want to give you a round of applause. And welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. And we are here to just have a good time, relax, because we don't went through a whole bunch of drama trying to get on here. So we're here to relax and just get some questions answered about the census. For my part, as a young adult, why is the census so important? Why do I see it on Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube, interrupting my tutorials on my hair? I mean, why is this thing so important?
Well, census is important, period. Census is not anything new. There were actually censuses done back in the Bible days. Okay. So if you go to 2 Samuel 24 or 1 Chronicles 21, you'll see where David did a census that, that had its results. But also during the birth of Jesus, when you look in Luke 2, 1-3, you'll see that a census was conducted then. So this is nothing new. Also, other countries do censuses as well. But why is this? What is the 2020 census? Well, it's the 2020 census counts every person living in the United States and 5 territories. Those 5 territories are Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Wow. So that is what the 2020 census is. It is to count everybody in the United States and the 5 territories.
Okay. So
Now,
what? So, as again, the young adult.
uh-huh. Why is it important?
Why is it important?
Why is it important? Well, as a young person, money is important.
Yeah.
And so the census or the results of the census help determine how much funding local communities receive for public services. What type of services are those? Hospitals, schools, fire departments, soup kitchens, shelters. Also, it goes to determine the roads and construction. Those are just a few of the things that the results of the census help guide the decisions on how much money, how much funding, and this is federal funding, that these local communities receive. So it is very, very important. It also helps to determine how many seats each state receives in the U.S. House of Representatives, which is very important. The results are also used to draw congressional, state legislative, and school districting districts. And the main reason is because it is a part of our Constitution. Article 1, Section 2 mandates that the country conduct a census of the population every 10 years. Now, the 2020 census marks the 24th time that the country has been counted, the country has counted its population since 1790. So this is nothing new for us.
24.
This is the
Wow,
24th time that we have conducted a census. The first one happened in 1790. So it is very, very important.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, you may or may not know, but where could we find, or could you tell us what the census has done for the communities? So, for example, of course, I am currently in Missouri, but as far as Durham, North Carolina, would I be able to look and say, oh, because this percentage did the census, we are able to have a new park, or because like that type of thing?
Well, we won't be able to see that for the 2020 since we are conducting that right now, but you can go to the 2020 census.gov website, and it has a wealth of information. Also, you can go to census.gov to see where some of this.
Hold on, Ms. Sherry. Let me type this in the notes. So that was census.gov.
So census.gov is the regular Census Bureau, the U.S. Census Bureau's website. For the decennial census, we have a special website that's also connected to census.gov. It's 2020census.gov.
2020 census, okay, 2020.
And there you can find a lot of information. You can drill down and find more information about your communities, about your specific community. Because I know we're Facebook Live, so a lot of people are not, they're in North Carolina, they could be across the country, but I ran across a document last night that showed how all the funding was appropriated from past censuses.
Perfect.
And it was incredible how much money was received. And we're talking billions of dollars. We're not talking thousands. We're not talking millions. We're talking billions of dollars that are appropriated and provided to these communities, states, and local governments. So it's very important.
So basically, you're saying that if we don't fill it out, we're leaving money on the table.
Well, that's a good way of saying it. Your participation in the census is very important because you matter. You live in your local community. You use those public services. You use buses, trains, public transportation. All of that, those are services that the community uses. And so the census numbers help to guide decisions. The results of the census guide decisions on all of those moving forward. And as I said, for the next 10 years. So it's very important.
When is the due date? When is the cutoff to do your census?
Well, that was yesterday. No, actually, we now have individuals that are going from door to door that are collecting information for those individuals who, for whatever reason, haven't had the opportunity to respond. So we are sending out census workers as we speak. You may see them in your neighborhoods. Please, please say hello to them, give them the information. They're coming to get that information. We have until the end of this month, September, the end of this month, to get all of that information. That's very important, and we have a short period of time to do that.
Gotcha. So as I stated before, a lady did come. I did see a lady. She had her lanyard on. She had her ID on. She had her what may look like a phone, but it was a device to access the questions. And I did stop her and say, "Hey, girl, what you doing?" We talk about you on my platform, and she just ran the questions. They were simple questions. She didn't ask for my social security number. She didn't ask for, my driver's license or anything like that. She asked me simple questions. And it's so funny because she did ask for my she asked for how old I was or my date of birth.
Yes.
And me and her both was confused because I thought I was 31 and she said I wasn't. So we had a deep conversation about that, but she was very nice. And I think that she had a partner with her so that they could tag team my apartment complex. But it was a very nice experience. I didn't have any ill vibes about her or anything like that. So that was a good thing to know. And because we were talking about the census, I was prepared for.
So before we move on, I want everybody who is watching us live, I want you to hit the thumbs up or send us a comment and thumbs up if you have filled out your census.
Yes.
Go on and put it in there. Give us some hearts. Give us some thumbs up. If you have not, it's okay, but you need to go fill out your census immediately.
Yes.
So give us some hearts. Give us some thumbs up. And if you have already filled out your census, I want you to share with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your enemies, whoever, that they
all of them
out their census too.
All of them.
So that we can have good numbers. I think I saw this week that the country as a whole, I think, is in the 60th percentage of filling it out. We want 90. We want 90, and I know it's a lot. Thank you for the hearts, y'all. I know it's 90% is going to give us some real good information, okay?
We're going to shoot for 100.
100% will give us, oh my goodness. So, and then, Sherry, you also kind of reminded me that if you're looking for a job, y'all, I mean, they may be hiring still.
Oh, yeah.
They got this information out, so go to census.gov to look up some jobs because they ain't paying $2 an hour. From what I heard, it's like $15-20 an hour. That's some good money. So because we have that push to finish toward the end of this month, we there may be an opportunity for individuals to find employment. Ashley, you made a great point because a lot of people are a little hesitant to know, whether someone is a real census employee. And you did exactly what you should do. Check their badge. They should have an ID badge that has the Department of Commerce on it because we fall under the Department of Commerce. It should have their picture. They should have U.S. Census Bureau on it. They should have paraphernalia that have, documents, or even it depends on what type of bag. They could have a laptop bag. They could have, like you said, it was a handheld device. It will have U.S. Census Bureau information on it. If you are still not sure, you can call. Go to 2020census.gov. There's a toll-free number on there. I actually have that number. You can call it, and I'll give that to you if you have any questions about the census. Okay,
I'm ready for the number whenever you are.
That number is 844-330-2020. That's 844-330-2020. Now that is the Census Questionnaire Assistance. That number you can use to respond to the census. You can use that number to ask questions about the census. You can use that number to find out if a person is a census employee. They may direct you to a regional number. We have regional census centers all across the country. North Carolina falls underneath the Atlanta Regional Census Center, and there is a number for that RCC, or that Regional Census Center. If you have any questions about that, you can contact them that way. So
there's a question. There's a question that's been asked, and it is: are they only going to houses or apartments that they have not answered, that they have not done the census on their own?
At this point, yes, we are going to doors. And so if you see somebody in your neighborhood and they don't come to your door, and you know you've responded to the census, that is correct. We've already received your response. So we're only going to those households that have not responded as of that day. Now, someone could still come to your household if you respond. Say you respond on Monday and someone knocks on your door on Tuesday. Well, you know, there's a little delay. You know, information comes in, especially if you mailed your response in, and depending upon what time you responded online, that kind of has to catch up with the assignments that go out. So someone could come to your door. If they come to your door, please just answer it. You can say, I've responded, but also if they ask you to give them the information again, please give them the information again. That way we are assured that we have your information moving forward.
Right. Perfect. Now, it isn't important that, so for example, myself, I got a lot of personal stuff going on. So with myself, of course, I moved out of my parents' house and got my own. And when the census came to my parents' house, I was called and was like, so do you want us to opt you out, or you want us to be a part of this house? How important is that?
Oh, wow. That is very important, because the census is to count everyone that lives in the United States. And our goal is to count everyone where they should be counted and not count them multiple times. So we have what's called Census Day. And Census Day is April 1st of the census year. So of course that's special. That's my wedding day. I picked it because I do work at the Census Bureau. Yay! But it's also very important because that is the day that we use to determine where you should be counted. Okay. So Census Day, if you lived at a residence on, you know, and the question that we ask is, where do you usually live or stay? And so that's the question that we determine how you and where you're counted. April 1st is that date. So if you lived in a residence on April 1st, that is where you should be counted. Now, there are so many different permutations, combinations of, well, I was here on the 31st, but then I left on the 2nd. We could spend all day talking about that. But what I'd like you to do, if you have any questions, is to call that toll-free number so that the census questionnaire assistants can help you in determining where you should be counted. It is very important. We don't want to miss you. Just because you moved to Missouri, Ashley, we already missed you, but we don't want to miss you on the census. So yes, if you have any questions about where you should be counted, please call the census questionnaire assistants, and they will be more than happy to assist you and count you.
I'm sorry, you go ahead. If you have any questions, I'm keeping up with the documentation.
Okay. Well, I'll go back and go ahead, Nat.
Well, I want to know because why is it so important for people of color to fill out this census? One of my favorite census commercial is the one where the husband is at home, he's put the baby to bed, and you see the picture going back and forth. The husband's at home putting the baby to bed, the wife is getting off work and is late, and by the time she gets home, the baby's in the bed. He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're home." And it's the caption comes out, you know, if you fill out your census, maybe we can get a bus stop that's closer to home because she's walking a mile. So why is it important for people of color to complete this census? Because we nervous. We have in our DNA, we have trauma. We got the Tuskegee Institute trauma. We got slavery trauma. We have all this trauma, and we are a little leery of government. So why is it important for people of color to fill out the census?
Well, just know that the census is a nonpartisan agency. Our sole job for the decennial census is to count everyone living in the United States, whether you are a citizen or a non-citizen.
That's the first thing. And the reason that it is important for everyone to be counted, including African Americans and people of color, is because the results of the census determine the amount of federal funding that comes to your local community. So that commercial, and I know the commercial that you're talking about because I've seen it, is very nice. Mm-hmm. Remember, I talked at the beginning about that local funding coming to your community. It goes to help for transportation, buses, subways, all of that. If they don't know that you live there and you're not counted, then, as you said at the beginning, you may potentially be leaving money on the table. Your community doesn't benefit, even though you live there, your community doesn't know that you live there. The census hasn't counted you there. Therefore, the numbers, the results are different. And so that's why we are asking everybody, census, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen, if you live in the United States of America, you need to respond to the census. Go online, do the paper form and mail it in, or you can call that 844 number and they will take your information.
So is that why it's so important for Ashley and myself? My parents live in Durham. I live in Mooresville. Ashley was living in Chapel Hill. Her family was living in Durham. That we all count separately because we were living separately, but our neighborhoods and the structure and the how our neighborhoods look are different. So Mooresville, where I live, may look different than Chapel Hill or the two areas of Durham that our parents are. So it's important that we don't combine that together and we miss out on our local community needs.
Exactly. And it's important to be counted where you are living or staying most of the time, because that's where you use the resources. It's also important that you're not counted twice. We don't want any counting of a person twice, because that also skews the number. So it's not good to not be counted, and it's not good to be counted twice. That's why we go through so many measures to ensure that we are counting you once in the right place.
Let me ask a question. How does the census tie in with voting? And the reason why I ask that is because if I'm registered to vote, shouldn't that, I feel like the census, I'm being counted for the census and I'm registering to vote. Isn't that a number? Like, isn't that the same thing or not?
That's good, Ashley. That's a good question.
That's a good question. No, they are two separate things. So voting is statewide. So, voting happens, and how people vote and all of that, that's totally different from the census numbers, from being counted in the census. You have to register to vote. And I know you all are going to do something about registering to vote pretty soon. You have to register to vote. That is a separate operation. It does not equal you being counted in the census. So that's two separate things, both equally as important.
Yes.
Equally as important.
Okay.
But if you want to put a tie to it, remember the results of the census help to determine the number of seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. It also goes to redraw those congressional, state legislative, and school districts. So it is important, very important, because it talks about the population, and it also talks about the demographics of a population. So Ashley, you talked about this at the very beginning about the questions that we ask. Why are we asking these type of questions? Well, we're not only are we counting all the people, but we want to know what type of people, who's there. So we ask those demographic questions: your name, your sex, your date of birth, and your age. Because my parents, and it's funny, as I'm getting older, they talked about something called silver sneakers. Remember that, Nat? Silver sneakers? It's like, what are silver sneakers? Now I see all these commercials about silver sneakers. Well, there are services that are provided for people that are more mature than, say, Ashley, you, that's a younger person. So the census allows those it allows each public service to determine how many people they need to service based on whatever criteria that they want to delineate. So it's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do a woman, there's a house, there's a family of 3 or whatever, and she's pregnant. Does that unborn child count?
Babies count. Unborn babies are not counted.
Okay.
But if that baby is born on Census Day or before, we count that baby.
Okay.
Now, where that baby will be counted, again, there are rules and processes on how to count someone, because obviously, unless you're having a baby at your house, you probably are having it at the hospital. We have operations that address all types of things, and I know you all want to get into different types of or groups of people that are counted. We can go there, but yeah, an unborn child, no, but a baby that is just born, absolutely. And it's very important that babies and older individuals, everybody living in the United States, in those 5 territories, we want to count them.
Yeah.
So so what, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So that goes into the prison system.
Hey, I was just about to say that.
Girl, that's what you did. Okay, right. We have family members, friends, whatever, in the prison system where they're not living with us, so we should not count them as our residents, but are they counted as far as being in the prison system or jail or whatever?
Yes, so those type of living quarters, and those are, we have a term at the Census Bureau called group quarters, and the definition of that is a group people that live together that share services. So they may share, whatever, a kitchen or whatever, any type of, they live together as a group. We call those group quarters. And correctional institutions, dormitories, assisted skilled living facilities, all of those fall under group quarters. There is a special operation for those type of areas on how they're counted. And so we get an administrator that helps, because obviously they have a list of those individuals there. We have a point of contact or administrator that we will get that information from, and they will provide the number of people that are living at that place. So yes, they are absolutely counted.
Okay, that's good. So I think, Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we introduce Sherry and what she does at the census? Because we was
why is she so important? Like, why did we choose her to do these questions?
Like, does she work for the census?
Like who is she?
So, Sherry, tell us why are you important for this interview? One, we chose you because,
besides the fact that that's your sister,
right?
Right.
But tell us what you do at the census, and do you only go in every 10 years to do it?
Right.
That is a great question. I remember when I was looking for a job. I'm a former math teacher for Durham County. I started off teaching math in Durham. Yes, actually, I taught high school math, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, and Intro to High School Math. I did that right there in Durham County.
Please reach out to Veronica Harper.
Veronica, I have you. But I started off as a math teacher, and then I found out about the census, and that was my very first question. I know y'all count people every 10 years, but I need a job that's longer than that. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is a lot more than just the decennial census. Actually, the U.S. Census Bureau does surveys for a lot of different agencies and or organizations. So there is work all year, all day, every day. I mean, work does not stop. Also, it takes at least 10 years to plan for the next census. So we're at the end of the 2020 census. There are already individuals that are planning the 2030 census. I have been working for the Census Bureau now for 20 years. I can't even believe it. I know I don't even look that old, do I? I have been working. I have been working for the U.S. Census Bureau for 20 years, and this is my second time working in the decennial census. What I personally work on is I work on a survey that tells us how well we conducted the census, and I am the program manager for the for testing of the instruments that we use for that survey. So that survey comes right after the census. We kind of shadow the census and see how well we conducted it. And then there will be analysis done on that data. And then we'll publish reports probably around the late 2021, 2022, going into 2023.
So basically,
that's what I do.
You're still a math teacher checking the students.
Right.
Yes. So actually, I think we got a question on the screen.
Yes, we do have a question. So going back to having a baby, an unborn child, if a baby is born after you fill out the form, how are they counted? Do they wait for the next 10 years?
Yeah, so babies that are born after, again, remember April 1st is Census Day. So we are trying to count those people living in the U.S. and the 5 territories as of April the 1st. So if a baby is born after April the 1st, they're not counted. It doesn't mean that they are not important, because that is a very important person and the family is happy. But for the purposes of the census, we do have to bound it. And we bound it based on that April 1st date.
So if you fill out the form that morning and you go into labor that night and the baby is born at 11:58 that night, does the hospital count the pumpkin, or do you have to go walk? I just had a baby at 11:58.
Well, I tell you what, that's a great question for 844-330-2020.
Because that's a good point, Sherry, because there's so many different scenarios that one person cannot. If that one person knows all that, they real high. They doing the census like they writing the census. So it's important that you have this number, because there are going to be a bunch of questions that people have, and we put the number in the chat. But if you have questions, that's where you go to get your questions answered, because they're going to have some answers for you, or they're going to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who can answer that question.
Right. So those of you who are live, I'm going to ask one more question. No, my mother always told me no question is a stupid question, but this might be one. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it. And then after that, we want those of you who are watching, we want you guys to answer some questions. So we have some questions that prepared for you, and we want you guys to get on here. So get ready. I want y'all to sit at y'all's phones, laptop, computer, whatever. And I want y'all to get ready, because we have some questions. But my question is, how do we count homeless people, and do we count animals?
Oh, well, I can answer the second one. No, we don't count animals, because it just is every person that's living. But that's a great question.
But let me ask why. I mean, let me tell you why I asked. Because pets have insurance, they have hospital bills because they get surgery, and we have dog parts. Go ahead.
No, and it's actually a very good question, because some people really like their pets just like they're their children or whatever, and they are very important. Pets are very, very important in our lives. However, they are not a part of the census, because that goes to the people that are living in the United States. So pets, no. People, yes. But those individuals that are experiencing homelessness, that have alternative living arrangements, we have a special process for them. So when you think about that, that could be people that are living in shelters. It could be people that are living under bridges. It could be people that are living in alleys. Each one of those groups of individuals, we absolutely count, because one, they are important. Everybody is important. I don't care where you're living, whether you have traditional living quarters or non-traditional living quarters. You are important, and you should be counted in the census. Now, Depending upon whether the facility is a group quarters where they're actually living and staying there, of course we talked about that with the administrator and having our point of contact at those facilities. But if you have a person that's living that is experiencing homelessness and living on the streets, we had in 2020 an effort, 3-day effort, where they went out into the streets and literally counted those individuals. You have to do a concerted effort because they move.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to, it's a huge undertaking. Again, if you want more detailed information about that, go to 2020census.gov. There is a whole write-up of how that occurred, even from 2020 and even in past censuses, how we do that. But that is a whole process, and we ensure that they are counted once and in the right place. So they are just as important as someone who lives on 101 Main Street.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so those of you who are watching, I hope you guys are ready. If you are ready, I want you to hit those thumbs up for your first question, okay? So we're going to do our first question. So I want you guys to get ready. I want those thumbs up because I see there are 9 people. So I would at least like to see at least 9 thumbs up, okay? Or if there's more, get those thumbs up. And we want to ask you all a question because I see there was some questions. So I know that you all have been paying attention. I know that you guys have been watching, and I hope this is some great information that you have received today. So we are definitely going to ask a question. Ms. Sherry, whenever you're ready.
All right, so I have some questions that talk about the decennial census or census in general. Some of it I've kind of touched on, some of it might not be. So we just want to see how well you know the census. So the first question, who conducted the first census and when?
Now listen.
Well, actually, let's do. Let me break that up into two. This is the first question. Who conducted the first census? That's the first question.
Jesus.
Who conducted the first census?
Okay, let's wait.
No, let me give you, and I'm not going. That one's not going to be. Okay, you know what? Let me amend this because I'm gonna do the second question first, and then I'm gonna go to that one because I didn't mention who did it. But let me go to this. When was the first census conducted? Was it A, 1790, or B, 1820?
Good job. Okay.
Ding 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 ding.
Right.
Ding, ding,
We need some music playing.
I know.
You want me to sing?
Yeah, go ahead, Nat. No.
Tell me again the 2 answers. A.
Okay. A, when was the first census conducted? A, 1790, or B, 1820?
Okay. Do, 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 do.
There you go. I have Nate Taylor.
Nate Taylor.
All right.
His answer is 1790.
Yay! That is correct. Now, for a bonus, this is still part of one. For a bonus, does anyone know who conducted the first sentence? And whoever can get that answer, I will give you.
Well, wait a minute. I have Miss Renetta, I have Miss Sandra, and Nate, who all said 1790.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. You all are right. And I'm going to, the part B, which is the bonus, and you'll get this lovely, even though you can see this backwards, this lovely census, 2020 census bag, tote, whatever. I will send that to you for whoever can tell me who conducted the first census.
All right, Miss Natalie, hit it.
5 seconds. 5, 4, because I know you have the internet. 3, 2, 1. Who do you have, Ashley?
Nobody.
Nobody. Okay. I knew that was a little difficult.
Oh,
but actually,
one person said George Washington.
Nate said George Washington.
Good guess, but not quite right. The first census was actually conducted by the U.S. Marshals on horseback in 1790.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, well,
Yes.
Miss Sandra said David.
David. That is the one for biblical. Yes, Auntie, that is the one for the biblical. He was the first one. All right, question number two. How many states were counted in the first census? A, 5, or B, 13?
Hit it, Miss Natalie.
A, 5, or B, 13? How many states were counted in the first census? Any answers?
Hold on. Okay, Nate said 13.
Ding, 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 ding. Nate, you are correct.
That's what I would have guessed because of 13 colonies. That's what I
Exactly. That was how I guessed it too. The 1790 census was counted, the 1790 census counted 13 states, plus the District of Kentucky, Maine, and Vermont, and the Southwest Territory, which is now Tennessee. So it was 13 states. Yay!
All right, so I guess we won the bag. Is that what it was?
Do we have, you want to do any more questions?
Give us a thumbs up if you want to do at least 2 more questions, guys.
We need
I have
2 more questions.
Or some hearts or
something.
Anything.
Because I have a good one.
She said I got a good one.
All right, one more question.
Okay, there you go.
In which census was New York City not the country's most populous city?
Wow.
Was it A, the 1800s, or B, none?
Ooh.
In which census?
A slight delay, Sherry. So
okay.
Now responded that they want more questions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
We're faster than
So here's this is question number 3, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
In which census was New York City not the country's most populous city? Was it A, 1800, or B, none?
I have Miss Renetta. She said none.
That's good.
Okay, we got none.
Hold on.
Anybody else? Anybody else got an answer for the question? Nate probably looking it up on Google.
I know.
Nate.
Love you, Nate. Miss you.
Right. I think it's Miss Renetta for none.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, Miss Lisa.
Sorry, cuz.
Miss Lisa said A. Nate said 1800.
So what is
actually, I take that back. Ding, 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 Renetta, you're right. None is the answer. None is the answer. New York City has been the country's most populous city in all 23 prior census counts.
Wow.
Its population in 2010 was 8,173,133.
Wow.
It's more than twice that of the next populous city, which is Los Angeles.
And I would say, I would guess that because a lot of people who come into this country will come to New York or they go to LA or whatever. So they continuously to grow because a lot of people think of United States as New York.
Yes.
So
right.
And if you go to New York, you see a whole lot of different cultures and ethnicities and races. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all for participating.
Yay.
Our what is it called? Our Census Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we need to know, Sherry, before we wrap it up? Thank you everybody for coming on here.
Yes.
Please continue to share this live, replay. We had some technical difficulties, but we learn every time we do one of these interviews. So it's all good in the hood.
It is all good.
Is there any, and this is an opportunity while we're wrapping up, if anybody out there in Facebook land have any more questions, and even if you think about questions after the replay, you can always put it in the comment section, or you can go and email it to us or message us on Facebook, but you can also email us at goodnewsnews16@gmail.com. We are here for you. We are here for our community wherever you live. We will help you find any information out. We will search it for you because we are community driven. So if there's any questions that you may have while watching right now, later on with the replay, please get in contact with us through Messenger, email goodnewsnews16@gmail.com, and just do what you need to do. Put in the comments. Just find us and we'll find you. All right, so take it away. Ashley, do you have any closing remarks, or Sherry, is there anything? Whatever.
Well, all I want to say, oh, go ahead. All I want to say is, please, if you have not responded to the census, respond today. The census questionnaire assistance is open Monday through Monday, Monday through Sunday, 24. It's not open 24 hours. It's from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. So almost. If you speak or know of someone that speaks a different language, that is no problem. We do have those individuals that speak multiple languages available on the census questionnaire assistance. Just respond. Just respond to the census and do it today. You can do it 3 ways: mailing in your paper questionnaire, responding online, or calling to 1-844-330-2020. Let me make sure that's the right number. Is that what I gave you, Ashley? Yes. I think that was the right number. 1-844-330-2020. Respond today. Your community depends on it. So please make history and respond today.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Sherry. That was so much fun and informative. We appreciate you for coming on and giving us all that information that we probably tweaked and probably didn't give it right, but that's why you're here. I do want to say that if you are new to Good News News, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing and inviting. If you need to find us anywhere else, we're here on Facebook. We're also here on Instagram as well as YouTube. Just to point out some things, we are here for the community, not just for Missouri, but also for North Carolina as well. So if there are things in your community that you want people to know and you want to be put out there, please let us know. We are here for the United States of America, okay? So for all 50 states and whatever else is connected to us.
And stuff too.
There you go. There you go. So please, 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 just a little insert. If you are watching, you have known that In Our Backyard is a segment that we do that we support our Black-owned businesses. So please, if you have anybody who has a business who you think that should be out there, if you have a business that you want to be put out there, here is a great platform. We have a lot of followers. We are here to represent you, to support you. So please, please follow Lens Designs as well as Scorpion Martial Arts. They are both opening up with new projects. They are both Black-owned businesses. So please follow us so you can get those information. And again, we love you, and because of COVID, we miss you. And we thank you so much, Miss Sherry, for coming on again. And I hope you had a good time.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thank you, ladies.
Wonderful.
All right, so until next week when we have our regular show, Good News News, please don't forget to subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Y'all know we moved to a new platform. So, and you'll see it on our group page of Facebook, but also make sure that you click and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. We will see you again next Saturday at 10:45 when we post our next Good News News episode. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next interview because It's gonna come. I told you.
We're bringing them
this week. It might be former President Barack Obama. You never know. It could be future VP Kamala Harris. You never know. So just stay tuned, and make sure you like, share, and invite everybody to this Facebook page. It is not just for Durham residents or Missouri residents, not just for Immanuel Temple members. It's for everyone because we serve you. All right, until the next time, bye, y'all.
Bye, thank you.